the best 15 minutes on YouTube. That's right, it's Talking Comics Live with the Collector's Confessions. Each week we come to you at 6 o'clock on Thursdays, and we talk about comics. This week's episode is Kraven's last movie. Yes, the Kraven movie hits theaters tomorrow. Not being well received, but we will talk about Kraven throughout the episode, discuss some of his highlights throughout his comic book career. But what we mostly do on here is we look at the comic books we bought for the week, and we know that the world is watching because everyone's buying the comic books that we recommend over the past couple of months. All the comics that we recommend are usually in the top 10. Comic Plug's always here, so if you have any questions, or when you're done with our video, go watch Comic Plug's video. So let's get into it. Let's see what we bought this week. We buy a lot. Here's the stack. You might notice we got a new table, new little setup here. I'm going to see Kraven. I'm going to go see it probably on Saturday or Sunday. So let's get into what we have. So we do all the comics we bought. Then we do 5 recommendations for next week. Jason Firestone is here. He and Brian compete to see who has the most Skateman comic books. We're going to do 5 recommendations at the end. 1 Marvel, 1 DC, 3 Independents. One of them is for Brian specifically. Brian, my usual partner, is on here answering any questions you might have. First up, Action Comics number 1079, Mark Waid writing. Michael Shelfon is doing the artwork. This has gone weekly. I don't know why, but it is now weekly. It is a lot of Superman. I guess they're trying to compete with Batman because I believe there are 3 or 4 Batman titles this month. Batman and Robin number 16, Philip Kennedy Johnson writing. As I say every time I show one of these, I really like Batman and Robin. It shows the relationship between a father and a son. Newest Batman title this week, Batman Dark Patterns number 1, written by fan of the show, Dan Waters. He was on, we did an interview with him where he revealed he was doing this. Hayden Sherman is doing the art. Please buy this. Dan Waters is a great guy. This series, he was telling us about this series. It's supposed to be fantastic. It's a little darker version of Batman. I don't know how much darker you can get. Batman and Santa Claus team up in Silent Night Returns number 3. This is a great series from last year. There actually is a nice preview in it too. The New Gods is coming out soon. Here's a look at the New Gods in the back of the DC Comics. This month, I'm looking forward to this. I'm a big New Gods fan. Hopefully Mr. Miracle will get something out of it. Non-Batman title, Black Lightning number 2. It's kind of based more on the TV show than the old comic book hero, so it's been all right. First issue I enjoyed. It's Black Lightning and his daughters, which, is always cool to me. DC vs. Vampires World War V number 5. This series has been pretty gory. There's a scene in this one, there's a panel where the Flash is only legs. He only has legs. They cut off his legs, so he only has stubs as legs. Can you see it? Right there. Chilling. And also, my favorite character so far in this has been Grodd. Vampire Grodd is really scary. So, if you're a fan of horror, this has been a really well done horror title from Marvel. Christmas time on Staten Island, not Hollis, Queens. Green Lantern number 18 Christmas card version. Here is the regular cover. I'm picking up all the Christmas covers this month, so hopefully everyone else is enjoying it. Here is my cover of the week. Yes, I do a cover of the week each week. Superwoman Special number 1. I just like that it pays homage to the old Superman movie. Really cool that it's a little bit switched, though. It's Lois Lane carrying Clark Kent this time. The reason why I picked this up is because it's being written by Joshua Williamson, and because of this friggin' cover was cool. Something we missed last week that my local comic shop, JHU Comics, shout out to JHU, that I didn't have last week. Justice League Unlimited number 1. This is the Jim Lee Hush variant cover. They finally got it in, and they put it aside for me. I believe they only got 1. And here's the one. The one is mine. This is an unbelievable cover. I think there's a Virgin variant too. I'm not a big Virgin variant guy, so what do you think? Anybody out there like Virgin variants? They don't have numbers on them. It's hard to... What am I getting for Christmas for my daughters? They want a lot of clothes and stuff like that. They clothes and electronics is what my kids usually want. That's my DC stack. There it is. A bunch of DCs this month. There were 3 Batman. Here's the Marvel. This was my recommendation from last week. Aliens Paradiso, #1. Steve Fox writing. Edgar Salazar is doing the artwork. It is friggin' gory. And it's not even a red band, but it is a gory. Marvel is doing some great stuff with the Alien property. These comics have been fantastic. Very, very gruesome at points, but definitely worth buying. I love the stories. I love the continuation of movies that I love. Amazing Spider-Man #63, Scotty Young cover. I love the Scotty Young covers. Disney cover. What if Mickey and Friends entered the Kraken age? I love these Disney covers. Be at Disney soon. If you live down there, come say hello. Captain America #117. This is the facsimile cover. Does anyone know why this is significant? It's the first appearance of the Falcon. So this is the first. That's what the Falcon looked like originally. This is an exact replica along with ads. I love what they're doing with facsimile. It costs them nothing to make. Dazzler #4. Jerry Fishin is doing the writing. Luciana Vecchio is doing the artwork. This is the Jerry Fishin cover. Luciano Vecchio cover. I didn't get the regular cover. I gotta make sure they pull it for next week. I don't know why it's not in there. Deadpool team up #4. He's teaming up with Major X. I, for some reason, like the Major X character. I'm a Rob Liefeld fan. Say what you want to say, but I always liked Rob Liefeld. Still do to this day. Still buy his stuff. Incredible Hulk #20. The Hulk has been battling the monsters of the Marvel universe. This has been one of my favorite series at Marvel recently. It's absolutely fantastic. Ultimate Universe #1. Another Ultimate comic book. Ultimate Universe has been killing it. 2 comics in the top 10 for November. It just gets bigger and bigger. Everyone's loving the Ultimate Universe. And finally, the last issue, Ultimate X-Men #10. These comics have been hot. If you're not buying Ultimate, you're doing something wrong. Buy Ultimate. Here's a fact about Kraven. Kraven's first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man #15 way back in May 1964. There you go. That's your first Kraven fact. Someone should have reminded me. I should have been doing Kraven facts throughout the whole thing. Let's think of another Kraven fact. Who created him? Created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Yes, the great Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. It's time for the recommendations for the week. Next week, these are the comics you should pick up. Hopefully you guys like the new setup. I'm not reading Ultimates. You know I'm not reading Ultimates. I'm behind because I can't find the first issue. Always loved Liefeld. I've always been a fan. No, I don't. What's Cruel Universe? Here are our recommendations. #1, our DC recommendation. Absolute Batman #3. Absolute Batman #1 was #1 for October. Absolute Batman #2 was #2 for November. I assume Absolute Batman #3 will be 2 or 3 for December. It's changing the game. The Absolute line is really big. Absolute line is very similar to me to the Ultimates line. So, Absolute, Ultimate, there you go. What is Kraven's real name? Kraven's real name is Sergei Nikolaevich Kravinoff. And did you know that he has a van called the Kray van? Seriously, not making that up. He has a van that he keeps stuff in called the Kray van. There you go. Marvel recommendation, TVA #1. Yes, the TVA is getting its own comic book. So you should pick that up. Some cool covers on there. Check it out. There's a bunch of variant covers. Did you know that Kraven is a founding member of the Sinister Six? You have a Brian Van? You should buy a van just because of that. So there you go. There's another Kraven fact. Here are our 3 indie recommendations. #1 from Image Comics, Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn #1. Yes, another Gunslinger Spawn comic book. You should pick it up. It's issue #1. The original Gunslinger one went crazy in price. Kraven's half-brother is the Chameleon. Did you know that? Kraven has a half-brother who's also a Spider-Man villain, the Chameleon. Second recommendation, this one is for you, Brian. Freddy the Fix #1. Why is it for you? It is written by Garth Ennis. one of Brian's favorite authors, Garth Ennis, is doing a new comic book for Image, Freddy the Fix. I believe it's about the Mafia, so pick it up. What's Kraven the Hunter's best story in your opinion? Write a comment. Comment, what's Kraven the Hunter's best story of all time? And then I'll tell you what mine is. Finally, the last recommendation for next week is G.I. Joe number 2. Issue number 2 comes out. A lot less than 50 variant covers, but there are a bunch of variant covers. G.I. Joe number 1, I think, was number 5 in sales in the month of November. Number 2 comes out. I assume it's going to be huge. Everyone is saying the series is really good. I'm not reading it because I'm not a huge G.I. Joe fan. I was a big Star Wars fan, and they always clashed for me. So what do you think? What's the best one? Yep, Kraven's Last Hunt. Definitely the best series from Kraven ever. And, you know, he died in the comics not too long ago. And his son took over the helm. So there you have it. We did our recommendations. We did our things. We are going to be, just so you know, if you want to come and hang out with us, we are going to be live January 19th at Comics Con here on Staten Island at the St. George Theater. The people running it, KV Comics, asked us to come and do a live broadcast from there. We were there last year. We're friends with them. They like us. We like them. So we're going to be there. Come on by and say hello. We'll be recording. We'll be talking to the vendors. We'll be talking to some of the attendees. And we'll be watching Black Panther. That's right. You can get a convention and a movie all in one. Check it out. Check out yesterday we had our interview with the guys who are bringing the Human Flyback. And this weekend on Saturday, 8:44, we'll be premiering our video from Tullytown, Pennsylvania. We did a Tullytown first ever convention at the Tullytown Firehouse. That's what we got going on. We love you guys. We know you love us. Thanks for joining us. Love what you collect. Brian's not here. Collect what you love. We will see you next week, 6 o'clock, for the best 15 minutes on YouTube. Thanks, guys. See you next week.